Can you believe? Can you believe that in 7 days, it's possible that we're going to be tied with Miami and New England and be a half a game up on the Buffalo Bills? It's possible. Okay, let's talk some Jets. This is New York chaos. New York Jets chaos. Chaos, Jets chaos. I forget my own name. It's Friday. I'm exhausted by now. But I will be back right after this, and let's talk football. Let's do Q&A. Let me answer questions about and give my opinions, whether you agree with them or whether you don't. It'll be a good time. Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh, my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh, my God. They don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Oh, my God. No edge.
Who's sitting there?
The Jets traded up. The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get 9, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary. They didn't take Dean. We traded up. We can get the Kobe Dean. We can get the Kobe Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. He took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes! We got a Jeremy. We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. That's wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge. Never heard of him. Well, we've heard of him now. He's a legend now. Michael Clemens. The man that, when he was born and just 2 days old, he helped his mom out by carrying her down and putting her in the car and driving them home. Old Dave Echeverry. He lives in Modesto, not far from Sacramento, and we are in a heat wave. I don't know about you, old Dave, but I am going to San Mateo, San Francisco over the next couple of days. We booked a hotel. We are escaping this monstrosity. But unfortunately, Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be brutal, and Tuesday's going to be the worst, and I have to work on Tuesday and Wednesday. So there's no way out of it. But what are we going to do? What we do is Thursday night I jump on an airplane and I go to New York. Some guy. Less than a week till opening day. Yes, that's true. That's why. Because the Rams and the Bills play in 6 days. That's why if the Rams win, we could be a half game up over the Bills. Enjoy it while it lasts, men. Enjoy it while it lasts. What are we snacking on tonight? I just had some Fruity Pebbles cereal, and but I have to build up an appetite now because when I'm done talking here, I'm gonna have to go downstairs and cook some burgers. We got some hamburgers. I got some American cheese, the Kraft. So I'm going to make cheeseburgers. I'm going to put a little hot sauce on mine. It's yummy, 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 yummy. That's what we're going to do tonight. What is up, Rob D? How you doing? Here's the man, the legend, the myth, the Buffalo Jet fan. And we're going to have the biggest show in the world after every single Jets game. The post-game show on the Buffalo Jet Fan channel is going to be the biggest show in the YouTube Jets world. I cannot wait. And we're going to give you all the breakdowns of the games, all our reactions to the games, all that good stuff. And hopefully each week Buffalo Jet Fan will be able to talk me off the cliff. And we're not going to be on week 1, though, because week 1, we're going to be at the game together. And if we win that game, I have a promise from the Buffalo Jet fan that he's going to kiss my bald head, not once, but twice. He's going to kiss my bald head if we win and beat the Ravens. So I got that to look forward to. We got Robert S. What do you think about the office of line, I am worried about it. I believe you meant to say, what do I think about the offensive line? Well, what part are you worried about? These are the two things I'm worried about. One is we cannot take 4 to 5 games to gel. So when we look at our 5 starters, we can't afford to have another year where it's like the first 3 or 4 games, our quarterbacks, whoever starts, probably week 1, Joe Flacco, the rest, Zach Wilson, that they're running for their life. And that when they don't succeed, everybody says they stink and we have to take more Zach Wilson abuse when all they're doing is running for their life. Now, the pass protection was actually pretty good this spring, but we really need a running game. We've been aching for it. We got these great running backs. All the potential in the world to have a good running game. They've got to gel. And we saw a little bit of it. There was some highlights from that Giants game of some people being pancaked, but we got to do that. Create some holes. I want to see Michael Carter and I want to see Breece Hall go absolutely nuts, popping 10-yard runs, and that'll help the quarterback out, and then we'll find our receivers and utilize our weapons. But I'm worried because they have to gel. They have to make that running thing happen. Number 2, I am very, very worried, and even more worried and concerned that we do not have a swing tackle. Now, it's nothing against Tego. I know he loves Max Mitchell. Max Mitchell is not ready to play in this league. He was absolutely atrocious. I'm sorry. I watched the tape. He's horrible right now. Now, he was better in the later game, and I'm not going to say he was horrible like we played the first week of the season where people were running over him. But there was enough for me to see that he is not a viable solution right now. And it doesn't mean he's a bust, and it doesn't mean that he won't even have the potential to be a good, decent starting tackle someday, possibly. It just means that he's a rookie, and he's not used to the speed and the strength of these players on the other side. He's not used to our system. He's not used to our guys. He needs transition time. He's a rookie, and he's not like a highly prized first-round pick, top 20 in the draft type of prized rookie. He's a guy that when you take in the 4th round, there's reasons why he slipped that far. And one of the reasons why is, for one, he's going to involve some development. The man, the myth, the legend. You must be talking about Michael Clemens. I'm solar powered. Love the heat. But you got to have a good air conditioner, man, and some good insulated windows. Zach, ready week 1? I don't think so, because I don't know. Has anybody heard? If he's not practicing right now, if he's not running in pads, taking full practice, I don't think it's going to happen, because when will he? When is he going to practice? I don't think he could start on Monday. Let's say this Monday, he starts taking reps, fully dressed, and starts practicing. I don't think that's enough time. What is that? 4 or 5 practices? I think it's a mistake. I think it would be a complete mistake. And I don't think they should rush him back. As much as I want to see Zach every game and I want him to develop, it's not worth risking it or rushing him back. And plus, he's going to look bad because he's not going to be ready. So you got a guy like Joe Flacco. We're paying a guy like Joe Flacco. It's a revenge game for him, possibly. Maybe he plays really well because it's against the Ravens. I'm going to be there. I wanted to see Zach Wilson, but I don't think we're going to see Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, if you told me today was in full pads, full out practicing, full participant, I would think there's a chance. But if we're hearing about it on Monday, and I don't even think he will on Monday, they're bragging that he's walking around practice. Walking around practice is very, very different than full pads and then contact. So the answer is no. At this point, we should be more worried, will he play week 2? That's my fear, is that he won't. I really hope he's playing week 2. I knew he wasn't going to play 1, or I don't believe he's going to play 1, and I didn't believe he was going to play week 1 since the injury happened. I knew we lost him for at least week 1. Once they announced the injury 2 to 4 weeks, they said, that's gone. He's not going to play. At the same time, the delay is a killer. Maybe there's a play. Yeah, me and Green Bean do the watch parties on Jet Nation, and not week 1, obviously, because we're going to be there. But a big problem is that we're not all synced. Me and Green Bean sync now, but the problem is I'm slowing down to do that with him, and some of you guys are 3 plays ahead, and you're just killing it for us in the chat. So we're gonna try to figure that out. By the way, during game 1, I think my brother is going to be on this channel having a watch party, and I'm going to call in from the stadium. So check that out. As far as I know, that's on and is going to happen. Yeah, I mean, look, and I love that Blewett said that he likes, that he's pretty good. He sees the potential in him. But yeah, he's raw. And we don't want him playing this year. We want to develop him this year. Then next year, maybe he could be the backup swing tackle, right? After he's had a full year and another full off season, that's when you want to start hearing that talk. Like, oh, this guy's going to push whoever we brought in to be the backup, to be the main swing tackle. And then maybe even someday he surprises us all and ends up being a starter. He might be the guy that replaces George Fent. Reports, he said he will be ready. Yeah, but it's not up to him. It's not up to him. So, look, if it happens, great. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to the game, and I really want to see Zach Wilson. I live in Sacramento. I'm flying across the country. I don't know when I'm going to get another opportunity to see him. I haven't been to a game in years. And if he's going to be our franchise guy, I really want to see him. And it was a real punch in the gut when he got hurt, when I realized, oh, my God, I'm going through all this to go across the country. I'm not even going to get to see my guy. I'm not going to get to see our potential franchise quarterback who I've supported since we picked him. It would stink. So I hope he does, but I just don't believe it. Not unless maybe on Monday, if on Twitter, hey, Zach was 12 for 13 in practice and looked great, and he's running around and, but I just don't see it happening because unless I'm wrong and he played today. Like, did he play in practice today or yesterday? Because I didn't hear that he did. So, I believe that Zach said he would be playing game 1. Look, like I said, it's not up to him completely. But if he's saying he will, I sure hope he is. Yeah, he's 2-12. I get that, but let's be fair. Look at the teams that he's played with, right? He hasn't had these weapons, and he picked us apart and ate us alive last year in preseason, if you remember. So, look, I don't want Flacco playing. I want him as a backup, right? Backups, yeah. I mean, 2-12, yeah. End of his career playing for look at the games he played, right? I mean, last year, the couple of starts he got, who were we? We were a bunch of kids. And then before that, I think he would come in for Darnold and play for Adam Gase. So, but no, I don't want him playing, dude. We need Zach in there, and we need Zach to be better than he was last year. We need him to take the next step, and we need all that to happen. And I hope I would love to be there for the first explanation point on Zach's career. I'd love for him to play week 1, puts up 250 yards, goes 25 for 32, throws 2 touchdown passes, looks great, runs for 50 yards. Breece Hall, Michael Carter go off in the running game. Conklin gets a bunch of receptions. Elijah Moore goes crazy. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. It would be great. There's nothing I'd want more than that. What's up, Kelly Wilson? What's up? Ryder and the Taylors. I'll never get used to saying that. Ryder, they are seasoned vets. It shouldn't take them long to gel. I hope not. No, you're right. There's no excuse for them not to. That's what I say. There's no excuse for them not to gel. But does that mean they will? They have to show it. They asked him when he'd be ready, and he said, "Be ready week 1." I agree with Jeremy. Even if he is ready, he wants to have enough practice and time to play. Let Flacco revenge game happen. Well, I don't know if I want the Flacco game to happen if Zach is truly ready. I thought you were going to agree with me in the one thing. The main thing is that it's not really 100% up to Zach. That's the key thing. I see that I have a new snacker. And I'm feeling pretty good about it. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that. I appreciate you joining the channel. Those of you members that are here, like Iowan and Dark Soldier, give them the big JETS Jets using the emoticons I provided for you, and let's welcome them in. Let's completely rip off Jets Talk 24/7 and just copy the exact membership program by using the same emoticons and doing the same thing. An Iowa Jets fan comes in and does it right away. But that's awesome. Steve Angle is here. What's going on, Steve Angle? Iowan is here. Dark Soldier is here. Mark Reese is here. I already said Stephen Angle, but I'll say it again. Stephen Angle is here. He must be done for the day. The kid, Arkansas Jets fan, is here. He likes to make fun of my egghead because he's a kid. So I forgive him. I understand it. That's what you do when you're a kid. You make fun of things. But Jake, thank you so much. I appreciate you becoming a member and supporting the channel. It goes a long way, man. It adds up. It adds up. And like Buffalo said, it's the price of a cup of coffee. And you help support the channel. And I appreciate you. And Stephen Engel, I'm not going to read that out loud because I'll get in trouble. Jeremy is bald. Can I stop playing the state of the obvious game? What? I'm bald. Oh my God, I'm bald. I didn't know I was bald. John Hepburn. I thought I was just like, receding. What is up, John Hepburn? I think I'm going to meet John Hepburn, right? I keep mixing up who's going to be there and who's not. I think John Hepburn's going to be there. So I think I'm going to meet him, right? You're going to the game, right, John? You going? This wasn't available before. I just got a new charger. Cool. It's interesting. So because you got a new charger, you saw the membership thing. I know that it took me 6 months to join Jets Talk 24/7 and become a member. 6 months because the member button was not there. And I don't know why it suddenly was there one day and not the other. I don't know if you have to use a computer. I don't know. Daniel had a hell of a time, but he doing it, but he managed to eventually get to be a member. So I don't know how, if I'm losing members because of that nonsense, that pisses me off then. So we're done for the day. Do you know where your children are? Laughing out loud. I don't have children. I don't have to know where they are. I know, Mom, my 440 children are hopefully home safe from school. I dismissed them. Hopefully I didn't give them to the wrong parents. You always got to worry about that. But so look, if Zach Wilson is ready, week 1, that's a cool thing because me and Mark Reese and Iowan and those of us are there. We really want to see. We want to see them win, and we would love to see them win with Zach Wilson having a great game. And to always be able to remember and say, remember we were there when Zach Wilson beat the Ravens, and we said to ourselves, "Oh my God, we have a quarterback." It'd be great. But I am gonna. Okay, so you're not going to the game, but I'm gonna meet John Hepburn at the Coney Island thing. That's cool. I love it. That's awesome. So we'll definitely see you there. I'm actually Friday, a week from today. It'll have already happened. In exactly 1 week, I'll be at dinner, 9:44 p.m. Yeah, I'll be with my friend David, who I'm staying with. Maybe even with Green Bean and Sack Exchange. Maybe my friends meet me in the restaurant with them. But we'll definitely be having dinner. But we'll have already had our 3:00 meet up, where a bunch of us are meeting up in some New Jersey pub where there's supposed to be really good food. It's hard to tell with Nick Shine because, like, what food doesn't he consider good? But it is New Jersey, so I expect it to be good. Because New Jersey, like when you go to these little bars and little pubs that have food, in my experience, they've always been really good. I really can't wait. Mozzarella sticks. Okay, so Eccles would actually be pretty decent there. Anyway, Iowan, he's going to come in. Him in a Jersey bar. That would be funny. He'll be looking at things like, what's this? And like he's picking up the mozzarella sticks and he's picking up the little bowl of marinara they give you to dip it in. And we have to explain it to him what it is. Now he probably knows what mozzarella sticks are. What would pop up in a New Jersey pub that would have Iowan Jets fan scratching his head like he's never seen it before? I guess if they had like French onion soup, he'd be a little confused. Anything with culture. Let me think. What else? What else would make Iowan scratch his head and be confused? I don't know. It'll come to me. I'm sure he knows all about onion rings, like in cheeseburger deluxes and cheeseburgers. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But he's not going to be there. I'd be confused with stuff that has seafood. You'd be confused. I didn't realize you weren't going to be there. That stinks, man. Who is going to be there? It's like Nick is talking like everybody's going to be there. It doesn't sound like anybody's going to be there. Buffalo Jets fans not going to be there. I think Gunny's going to be there. Okay, that's something. We're going to have Gunny, me, Nick Shine. Dom C is going to be there. You don't like the idea of, well, it depends if he takes reps or not, Larry. I'm nervous about it too. Like, he has to be 100% like now. He has to be practicing now or on Monday, practicing at 100%. That's the only possible way I could see it. If it's like he first puts on the pads on Wednesday and says, okay, I could play with a brace on, they got to be out of their minds to play him. He's your future. I'm sorry, one football game. You can't do it. You can't gamble your future. But if he comes out Monday in full pads, full practice, running around and says, I feel fine, and there's not extra soreness or anything or swelling or inflammation, then it's up to the Jets medical staff. The one that was supposed to be so good that I'm not impressed with yet. So, starting an early deep shot. Look, we have the guys to take an early deep shot with. You know what I mean? I mean, you got Garrett Wilson. You got Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. Any of those guys can go deep and beat you deep. There's another guy who's on the bench that can do it, and his name is Denzel Mims. But we're not going to bring up sore subjects. But, he's capable of doing it too. I'm not saying he should be in there over those other guys, but like no one could tell me that a guy who runs a 4.3 with his height and his hands, if you look at the highlights from his entire career, he's another guy that we can go deep to and use as a weapon. Another weapon that we have that people don't talk about that can go deep, believe it or not, and confuse the defense or make a big touchdown run with a small pass is Breece Hall. Breece Hall is going to be a force in the passing game for us. We're going to have short passes to Breece Hall that turn into long gains. You wait and see. You put Breece Hall in some space, and he's going to be a problem. I promise you all that. So, I wish you could be there too, Anthony. But someone's going to be in that pub. I mean, it's like, I thought for sure he said Iowan. It's me, Dom C, Gunny, Nick. Maybe it's just us, Gunny and his wife, Dom C, me, Nick, probably his kid, because he goes everywhere with his kid. I don't know who's left. Yeah. Mark Reese will be there. Mr. Reisman. Mark Reese will be there. Oh, yes. I'm going to pour beer on that guy's head. Okay. We all made a decision we're going to pick on Mark Reese. We're going to bully him. Just kidding, Mark. It's going to be funny. But Iowa, you don't come in until Friday night. So you're going to crash in near Coney Island? Is that the plan? You're going to stay in a hotel by Coney Island and then go to a hotel in New Jersey? I heard it's something like that. I don't know. Look who's being all confident. The Buffalo Jets fan. The Buffalo Jet fan, not Jets fan. The Buffalo Jet fan, which means that the Buffalo Jet fan, because he's from Buffalo, is only capable of rooting for one player at a time. Because when you're in Buffalo, it's not as crowded. Things are a little slower there. It's messy when you eat your wings, so you can't pay attention to everything. So for them, it's easy to just be a fan of one player and focus on one player. So that's what they do in Buffalo. So the Buffalo Jet fan, I'm not sure who he's chosen this year to be a fan of, but he's confident that we're going to get our first win. And I'm all about it. I'm all about it. I want that first win. I want to be there for a Jets win, baby. I have better luck in the playoffs, but we'll see. I'll be near Coney Island Friday night, and then Islin Saturday and Sunday night. All right, so that's cool. That's good. Now maybe I do have to bring that bagel and cream cheese after all. So we'll get you a bagel. You'll like it. A little bit of schmear. We'll turn you Jewish in no time. I might even bring some matzah. Okay. What is this? Buffalo Jet fan all about us. I've been gone for 3 months and I know that. You were gone for 3 months, Jake? What's going on? Why were you gone for 3 months? What's the deal? I knew that I hadn't seen your name in a while, but like I didn't realize it was 3 months. Like, did you just need time off? Like some people just need time off. Like, I don't want to hear about the Jets. I don't want to know about the Jets for 3 months. For 3 months, I want to be a person that's not a sorry, pathetic Jets fan. For 3 months, I'm just going to be a guy who lives my life. And then I'm going to get back into it and be a Jet fan again. You know what I mean? You just take 3 months from the stress, 3 months from the losing, 3 months from the nonsense. The more I talk about it, the more tempting it is. Lox, isn't that the guy that Lorax was always talking to? Lox is smoked salmon. But us Jews, for some reason, we have to give everything a different name. So we call it lox. Sometimes we call the cream cheese schmear. We say lox with the schmear on a bagel. Anyway, you'll like it, man. You'll like it. But I don't think you're anti-fish, right? If you're not anti-fish, you'll love it. People like, because I'm allergic and don't like fish, but I'll eat some lox on my bagel, especially if it's good. But that's not what I'm concerned about, Iwan. I just want to get you a good, fresh, big, fat, fresh bagel, which I can get on Staten Island. And it's not the best that I've grew up with in Brooklyn, but it'll be good enough to bring it to you and watch the eyes come out of your head as you eat it. Good evening, Jets family. Good evening, John Nolte, the salty Nolte, the salter Nalter, the Nolte John. Oh, Naughty John. We can call you Naughty John. So that would just reverse your name. That's what it sounds like. But you say no. If so, no. Okay, I will put everything into my mouth. Tell the ladies. That's what she said. Yeah, we're gonna work it out, man. You're gonna try everything. Don't worry. I lost the charger. I'm definitely bringing bagels with cream cheese or something to the tailgate. I lost a charger to my computer. I mostly hate the interwebs, so didn't care. I'm banned on YouTube, so my phone and stuff. I got a VPN here. That's my reason. Okay. Where are you, Jake? Where are you exactly? The way you make it sound, like with VPN and everything, you're making it sound like you're in Bermuda or something. So remind me where you are. Oh, I made John laugh. I made my Uncle John laugh. Uncle, big brother, I don't know. Lee, you're older than Lee, right? Right, Salty? Lee is like 58. So if you were 58, then I'd say you could be my big brother. Don't you miss those? Well, John, I told you how to get them. I've told people before. You go to Brooklyn Bagel Company online. Go to Brooklyn Bagel Company. They're located in Astoria, Queens. You could order bagels from them. If you want lox, it's like Zabar's quality lox. It's the best. They have like high quality, like Zabar's quality lox. But if that's too rich for your blood, which I understand, it's kind of pricey. You don't really need it. You can just order bagels and cream cheese. And this is what they do, John, to make it legit. They freeze it. They par bake it. They steam it. They slightly bake it. They vacuum pack it, freeze it, and send it to you. When you get them, you put your oven up to like 450 degrees. And you put the bagel on a baking sheet on parchment paper. And you cook it for 10, 11 minutes. And you end up with a crispy, it tastes like a fresh. I'm telling you, it blew my mind. Me and my wife had tears. We actually swelled up with tears because we realized that we could have that part of our life back. So we don't waste them all at once. We get a dozen. We put them in the freezer. They're vacuum packed. And for special treats like on the weekends, we take 2 out and we cook them, and we have these amazing bagels. I'm telling you, you will be very happy. 59, so you're 2 years older than Leah, 1 year older than my brother Lee. So you don't have to be my uncle. You could just be my older brother. Are they better than Brugger's bagel? Oh my God, please don't even get me started. Brugger's bagels. Those are not bagels. That's bread shaped like a bagel. Rockland, right outside New York City. I wish I was in Bermuda. I had a good time in Bermuda. Me and my wife went into a local bar there, and people were buying us drinks, and it was great. They were so happy to just be hanging out and talking and chilling, and thought we were nice because we were interested in going into a local place and talking and meeting people. It was cool. It's pricey to ship to Florida. Well, look and see how much, because it is a dozen of them. So it's 12 experiences, right? Like, use Ziploc bags, keep them frozen, and it's 12 times that you get to have that amazing experience. Maybe it'll cost what, $60, $50, whatever it is. When you think about it like that, it's not such a bad deal, right? You got, so. JD has stacked the deck for the Jets to be players in this league. Our two unknowns will soon be discovered. Do we have a quarterback, and do we have coaching? Yeah, it's true. And the quarterback's the more important one. You can replace a coach in no time. Can't find a new quarterback in no time. So Zach is the big one, man. Zach is the big one. If Zach is the right guy, you're eating Thomas's freaking bagels. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, man. You just have to, at least for a special treat, you have to, John. You have to do it. Special treat. Please, I beg of you. I beg you, John. Do it. No, well, they send it to you one way because it got to come frozen. So they overnight it in some special way. So you have no choice in how you ship it. What is the official beer of New Jersey? That's a confusing question for me, because Philadelphia loves a different lager. And I'm forgetting what the hell is the name of it? Jesus, guys, help me out. I'm forgetting the name of the oldest brewery on the northeast of America. It's a famous lager. It's not Budweiser or anything like that. It's this other lager that's very popular in Philly and Pennsylvania and a lot of southern Jersey. I like it too. Any Philly hoagie place that you go to has this beer. It's not Sam Adams. Sam Adams is Massachusetts. Yingling. There you go. Anthony G. Thank you. It is Yingling. So I don't know if New Jersey would consider that their beer. It's more of a Philly thing. But it depends where in Jersey you are. They might like Yingling. If you like a lager, I think Yingling is great. I think it's a lot better than Bud, unless there's some great microbrewery that does a great job. Some brewery that does lagers, because I've had some good ones of when I go to different breweries and go beer tasting. But yeah, I mean, Sam Adams is a big one that you'll see out there. Like, there's no question they're going to have Sam Adams in the bar that Nick takes us to. Usually you'll see, I don't know how big they are into IPAs and stuff. I mean, I assume it's changed since I've been there, and that they are, because everybody is. But, Sam Adams was always like in Northeast. Like, when you go in a pub or a bar, you can always get a Sam Adams, right? And that time, I think September's too early for like a seasonal. The fall, seasonal Sam Adams could be available. They used to have a cherry wheat one that was really good. I don't know if they still have it or if it's available in most bars. But I don't know, man. I grew up in New York and Brooklyn. I didn't go out drinking that much in Jersey. I'm just assuming that I know in the taps that they'll probably have Sam. And they'll probably have Yingling. But we'd have to see. So, but but Steven is saying that it's Coors Light, Miller Lite, Bud Light, Corona. Okay, Yingling made the list. So out of those beers, I would say you have to drink Yingling. Out of those beers, that's my opinion. I like Yingling. I think it's good. Guinness, yeah, okay. So now, look, I appreciate a Guinness. Me and my wife went on our honeymoon to Dublin. The first thing I did is we came in on the red eye or whatever. It was early in the morning. We took a nap. It was 10:30 a.m. And I said, honey, I gotta get a Guinness. We're in Ireland. And it's like there's three kinds of Guinness. Okay. There's the Guinness you get in Ireland. Then there's the quality Guinness. It's like a second tier quality that you get anywhere else except one place, because there's one place that gets the tier 3. So tier 2 is good. Like if I go into New York and get a Guinness, it's good. I've always liked it. It's not as good as Ireland. But also there's a third lower quality Guinness, like the lowest of the low, like their worst that they produce. And they ship that to England. So England gets the crappy Guinness. So, if you've tried Guinness here, you've tried the second best Guinness. And the best Guinness is in Ireland, and I did love it, man. I mean, they would pour like 10 of them, half glasses, and you have to wait. So it's because if the bar was getting busy, and then they refill each one. Like it was amazing how they pump out, but they're always got like 10 being made, and everybody's drinking them. And they like hard cider, also cider. Oh, I'll have a cider on with some ice and a glass of ice. And I'm like, and it's guys, and I want to go up to them and be like, what are you out of your mind? We're in a bar and you're drinking cider on ice. But anyway, Guinness is some very good stuff. Captain K Techno in the house. And I miss it. I miss having it I miss Ireland. We had a great time in Ireland. I miss it a lot. I miss the live music in some of the pubs. That was really great. Getting to hear the songs that I grew up listening to from my dad and the music he played with his friends, like Black Velvet Band and, eyes they shone like diamonds, that, and, I am just a rover, I go to, that stuff, Whiskey in the Jar. But yeah, man, it's good stuff. What are you saying? Yeah, man, I always liked it. The first time I ever had it was in Boston Airport, and there's a Sam Adams in there, and I they like. Now that was back in the day. This is 20 years ago, and I remember going in and getting the cherry wheat and thinking, "Man, this is really, really good." I liked it. Duck noodle soup in Chinatown is really good. Okay, which Chinatown? There's a lot of them. They're all over the place. I had a Yingling when I used to golf at a resort in Pennsylvania. All the men in the town worked in sawmill. All the ladies worked in diaper factory. That just sounds so funny to me. John, you just made yourself sound like 110 years old. You're sick of it, huh? You can't stand them. Yeah, when you live near a place, they beat most of this craft BS now, though. Oh, you don't like the craft? I mean, look, a lot of people don't like going to these breweries and they only have these IPAs because if you're not into bitter, it's like they're not fun to drink. Newcastle. There's really good stouts and porters and stouts and all kinds of stuff in the breweries in California. I got like vanilla stouts, peanut butter stouts. There's a lot of good stuff, but nothing is quite exactly like a Guinness. Joe Champion, where have you been? Talk about missing in action. I haven't seen you in ages. Our roster is loaded. That's a very positive thing for you to be saying today, Joe. But you're a positive guy. Out of the most Irish pubs around here. Irish pubs. We always have Guinness. He's saying so true. He's probably talking about the shit going to England. I love that. Yeah, it is creamier. There's no doubt. The texture, the mouthfeel of the Guinness in Ireland is amazing. I went to Guinness, the brewery. Like I went there, and you get a whole tour, and you start. And I don't. Those of you who don't know, they have this giant building, and the top of it is like the highest point in Dublin. So the tour, you're working your way up levels.
And throughout the tour, at one point, you get to taste the little cup of Guinness as they talk about it. Like, taste for this flavor, and you get to taste a little. It's like a tease. Of course, I snuck an extra couple, like a couple of shots. And when you get to the top, you're just dying for a beer, right? I mean, the whole time you're just talking about how they make the beer. Oh, here, it's only 4 ingredients. Oh, and we burn this. And, like that's how we get the black color. You're learning all about it. And then you get to the top and they give you this ticket. Like everybody gets 1 ticket when you get to the top that you get to trade in for a Guinness. And I guess the feeling is that since you're at Guinness, it's like people are crazy, because what I think is obviously, right, they bring up some kegs up there and they're pouring out of a keg like any other place. But the rumor is that they run the pipes. I don't even know what people are talking about. And it's coming directly from the vats of beer. And I'm like, I don't think they do it that way. I think breweries make kegs. I think that you're just drinking from a keg. But people want to insist. Yeah, they even said there's a bar in Trinity, the college. The university. Hey, you go to the Trinity University. All the smartest Irish lads do. Anyway, they say that the pipes connect to the brewery at Guinness and go to this bar. And I laugh at that because that doesn't make any sense. That every brewery I know, the way it's done is you make kegs. You don't just have a giant vat of like that's the wort. And then you whatever, and it goes through the process, but then it's put into kegs. That's it, and they ship it out to the world. I don't think in the top of their now what's kind of like a museum, they have pipes that run down the building. They probably just bring up the elevator some kegs, and they set it up like a regular bar. Call me crazy, but that's how I think that they do it. Hard cider is a good look. Look, my wife has to drink them. She's gluten-free. Celiac, she'll drink beer and cheat once in a while and drink the beer, but she drinks a lot of cider when she doesn't want to risk of her stomach not doing so well. Yeah, look, that's a big part of the problem too. It's not that the quality of Guinness is low that comes here. A lot of American bars don't know what to do with it. They don't know about cleaning the pipes. They don't know about, and how to keep the line fresh. And there's a lot they don't know. The pressure, you have the right amount of pressure on your CO2. This is like motor oil. It's like motor oil. Jeremy, did you go to the Guinness and Jameson? I didn't do Jameson, and I would now. At the time, I didn't do it. I regret not going. I mean, we passed it a million times. You can't miss it, right? I mean, it's like huge letters, Jameson. It's like right by that bridge and where you walk over the water. I mean, you can't miss it. So it's absolutely incredible that we didn't go. Not that it's like the greatest in the world. I mean, I'd rather go. I'd be more ashamed if I didn't go to, if I was in Scotland and I didn't try Scotch from a distillery and go to some distilleries there. That would be a lot more to be embarrassed about. But I actually like Jameson, and Coke. I like that. It's Jameson and cranberry juice. We didn't go there, but we did go to the Guinness, and we went to the Marsh Library where we saw books that were over 1,000 years old. You weren't allowed to touch them. There was like a steel fence separating you from them. We had a great time. We did everything in Ireland. We went out into the countryside and saw the Guinness Lake, and it was out. I'm forgetting the name of it. It was out in the country where they filmed some movies. So it's amazing that's what they tell you on the bus tour about the movies. But it was that driver on that bus tour that told us about how they send the shitty beer to England. It was that guy who told us that. He was like, he said we had a divorce with England, a messy divorce. Listen to the Pogues or the Dubliners and Slam Guinnesses. Yeah, I love the Pogues. I love the Dubliners. I just listen to my dad's friends. My dad played in the band that played bluegrass, and they did Irish music to bluegrass. So I grew up listening to it. My dad didn't care about the beer too much, but it was a fun way to grow up. Thank you, Grandizer. Grandizer is one of the biggest, most helpful people to this channel. He asks for nothing in return. He just simply promotes my channel, and he sends me news or websites to help me get information. Just chooses to do it. Just a great guy. So thank you, Grandizer. I'm so glad I met you. I met you because of Payo Time, so I appreciate that.
That friendship with Payo Time led to also having you as a supporter of this channel. The Bills roster is loaded, not ours. I wouldn't say I would. Okay, so here's my thing. I wouldn't say there might be a day where the roster we have right now is just as loaded as the Bills. The problem is that they're young and they're not developed, and we don't know that yet, right? But in 3 years, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Sauce Gardner, AVT, like these young core guys we have, Quinton Williams, Jermaine Johnson, like all these young guys, Jamie Sherwood, we might be a stacked roster that's loaded, and all the guys are here now. Jeremy Rucker, they're all here. We just don't know it yet, and they have to develop and become that. So I wouldn't be so fast to say that we're not loaded. We're just not experienced yet, and that's the question. The question is, are we going to mature quickly and surprise the league and win a lot more games than we think? Or is it going to take longer? Obviously, every year you add more talent and you fill different holes, and guys leave and guys come. But I honestly believe that the core of our team, the youth, those guys I just mentioned, I really believe in them. I think they're going to be future Pro Bowlers and guys that lead us to the playoffs and do a lot of great things with us. I mean, look at the guys I'm naming: Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Breece Hall, Michael Carter II, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, Michael Clemens. Maybe not long term, but like because they're already veterans. But like DJ Reed might be around for a while. AVT, I said him already, but like there's a lot of guys. We got a lot of guys that have a tremendous amount of potential. Now we have this safety that I'm not going to pretend I knew or thought about, but apparently they're excited about this kid's. They're excited about this kid's Tony Banks, and you know what? If there's anything they could evaluate, they have. You could, whatever you say about the Jets coaching staff, I think Saleh knows something about defense, and I know Ogden. I think that's his name, right? Tony Ogden, the defensive back coach, has been doing it for 18 years now. I think they see something in this kid. We might actually have a player in this guy. Tony Banks. So look, I mean, we're going to see, but we got some talent. We got a roster. It's just a matter of what are they going to be ready yet, and is Zach Wilson going to be the guy? Because all those guys I'm naming, I'm not naming Zach because he's a question mark. But if Zach is the guy, there you go. I don't know if he's ever going to be a Josh Allen, and he doesn't have to be. To be a success, he doesn't have to be Josh Allen. It would be nice, but he doesn't have to be. Right? Josh Allen right now is arguably the number one. Nobody would argue that he's not top 3. If Zach Wilson was top 5, we'd be very happy. Be better than we've ever had. What is up, Sean McAteer? Are you defending my land? That's what I ask you. Are you defending? The Jets roster is close to loaded, but the fans are always loaded. I like that. When I was in an Irish bar in the UK, it took about 10 minutes to get a good Guinness pour. Well, when you go to a busy bar in Ireland, especially like in a busy time when it's packed, they're making 10 at a time. They're not waiting for you to order it. They're just like, when you order it, they account you have a place in the order. Like, I'm the 5th person to go, so the 5th one that's ready. But the guy just basically is filling glasses halfway, and then they're settling, and then when he's done filling them, he goes back to the beginning, fills a little bit more, finishes it off, and then starts passing it out to people. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon. Phenomenon. I love pounding Guinness. Well, Guinness is a beer that I know is all over New York. I'm assuming they have it in New Jersey. So, Grandizer is not a bot. No, he's a real person. You kidding me? Wow, what's up, Sean? Harry is here. I'm going to be hanging out with Harry next week. I think he's going to Coney Island. I know he's going to the tailgate party. Did I say his name wrong? Did I say Tony Adams? Or Because sometimes I realize when I see somebody type a name that I must have said it wrong. Did I say Tony Banks and not Tony Adams? I hope I said Tony Adams. But anyway, I'm excited about the kid. I think he's going to be good. And not because I know anything about him. I just trust the coaches. For him to have made that roster, there must be something special. And 2010? Well, I hope they prove that. Yes, I do drop articles for jetsjoint.com. Thank you for mentioning it. I also drop podcasts with my brother, Lee Cravat. The answer, Lee Cravat. John Nolte, will you be in New York next week? I don't think so. We would know if John Nolte was going to be there. Nova is better than lox. Nova is a kind of lox because you could order the belly or the Nova. And when I go into like Zabar's, for example, which is like the best smoked salmon, best lox, they actually have guys that have been there 30 years. And they have their first woman that got a credential. You have to be like certified, like to be a professional lox slicer, to slice it real thin. So at Zabar's, you can get Nova. I think all the real Jews do. Like, I never knew a Jew who doesn't get Nova. The only people I ever knew that get belly were kind of the people that just didn't care about their health at all. They said Nova's not unhealthy enough with the salt. I want the one that has 3 times more salt, and I want the fattiest part of the fish because the Nova, which is lean, amazing, soft like butter, isn't enough for me. I need it to be extra salty and extra fatty. So they get the belly. It's amazing to me people order the belly lox. But just in case you ever get a choice, if any of you are in New York, if you go to Zabar's or if you go to any other, there's a few famous places. Forgetting the names because it's been a while, but down by Katz's Deli, there's a famous place. If you're going to get lox and they have a choice of belly or Nova, you definitely order the Nova, no matter what. Let's see this. I have an extra ticket to the Jet Lounge tailgates, not the hangar, just the tailgate. Anyone need one? How'd you end up with an extra one? That's interesting. I bought mine, unfortunately, but somebody might need that. Maybe Nick Shine. You should talk to your friend Nick Shine because Nick Shine is planning on just walking around like a homeless guy. So you might want to check with Nick Shine. I know he's going to be with his son, but at least he can get in and get something to eat and hang out there a little bit. Maybe they'll let the kid in because he's just a kid, you know? Yeah, he should change his name to 33. Just to stick it to Jamal. Wow. By the way, has anybody heard from Johnny Marahiel or Marahiel? I got to ask Greenbean if he was on the Iowan. Was he on the Wednesday night Patreon, like the classic game hangout? Because I have not seen John Marahiel in a really long time. So either we said something to offend him or I'm very worried. Hopefully I just said something to offend him and he's okay. I'd rather have it be that. But if anybody knows where he is or has seen him, just let me know. I'm trying to figure out if it's just he stopped watching my channel or if he really is missing. Frank, thanks. That's exactly what I was thinking. Russ and Daughters, you could definitely get some good lox there, and pickled herring and all the old Jewish classics. If you like experimenting and eating just anything, this is the famous place to go. You can get a million different things there, but you can also get things. I'm not much of a fish guy, so I don't do that stuff. But they carry everything. You can get yourself a really good babka. Whatever you want. But Zabar's too. Zabar's on the Upper West Side, man. It's like a heaven to me. They just sell all kinds of wonderful, wonderful things. Typically, the tailgate party to the Jets Lounge costs $29.99. They were offering a 15% discount, though, when I bought it. Zabar's is awesome. I lived a 5-7 minute walk from Zabar when I left New York City. Can you believe that? I was on 81st between Amsterdam and Columbus. And sometimes we used to go upstate for the weekends. So I didn't really take advantage of that much because Friday we'd be out of there. But when we stayed in New York on the weekends, I would go in the morning to Zabar's as soon as they opened, and I would get like a half a pound of Nova or a pound of Nova, whatever it was. And then I think I got a pound because it was about $40. And then I would go and pick up bagels because Zabar's has bagels, but they're not as good. There was a fake H&H. Those weren't that good. But then we found another place. I'm forgetting names. Frank will probably know the name of that too. There's a bagel place in the city. There's like 4 locations. That's a little bit better. It's on like 92nd and Broadway. My wife would run up there and grab them. And because that's the way we were in Brooklyn. Like you had to have the best bagel. You went to the best bagel place. You didn't get lox there though, because the bagel places didn't have the best lox. You went to a place called the Blue something. The Blue, my God, I'm like senile. The Blue something. There was a place that they actually sold their lox to Zabar's. It was in Brooklyn. And my parents would drive 20 minutes. It was like further away from where we lived in Canarsie. Maybe not 20, but an extra 10 minutes away from where we got the bagels to get like the best lox. I mean, this is the way. But Jews and Italians, we were all like that in Canarsie, like in Brooklyn back in those days. Like on Saturday mornings, the families would go out. Well, Italians would cook a lot more. Grandma would cook the stuff. But Jews would go out and would literally go to 4 places before you prepared your breakfast or brunch or whatever it was. Like you had to get the best. So you went one place. We literally would go to 2 places across the street from each other, one for the bagels, one for the Bialys, because Bell had the best Bialys and Flatlands Bagel across the street had better bagels. So we'd be online for that. Then we'd have to go to this Blue, whatever the hell. If my brother was here, he'd tell me the Blue something to get our freaking lox. We finally get home. And cream cheese bagels, lox. I mean, those were great days. And then that was Saturday. On Sunday, I'd go to my friend's house, who's Italian. I'd go in the morning, we'd watch soccer, and his mom would just start putting out courses from like a little bit light breakfast. And then starting around lunchtime, it was 5 courses that went till 3 p.m. Like it was ridiculous. Like we would literally, here's soup, and it just had pasta in it. We would eat it. We'd go back to the couch. We're watching TV. We're hanging out. Come for the next course. And then boom, there's like a bowl of pasta, like it was crazy. And it just went on like that for 3 hours. I mean, people want to know how I became a foodie. I mean, this is where I grew up. This is what life was in Brooklyn. It was like it wasn't chains. It was mom and pop places. You went to like a pork store, an Italian pork store. It was owned by a local person who lived in your neighborhood. Like I grew up in Canarsie, and all the stores in Canarsie were owned by people who live in Canarsie. So they couldn't be bad. They were stamping their name on things. It was their reputation. So there was so much pride in what people did. Deli, man. Yeah, hey, the deli near me that was the best growing up was called Grabstein's Deli. And I was literally in my mom's belly. My parents went there before I was born. And same waiter to when I was in college. This guy, Milton. And place was amazing, man. There's nothing like it. There's just places that aren't like that anymore nowadays. It's not the same. Friggle D. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, Friggle D. No more Larry Bird. Now you have that big guy. I've seen pictures of him all over the place. People love it. They think it's hysterical. I don't know anything about Tony Adams. I read the Jet stuff 30 times a day. Yeah, nobody knows anything about him, except that Robert Saleh said, if we lost him, we would have been sick. So, I mean, there's got to be something to this kid. I am using my GCC ticket to get in. Cool. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. I could have done the same thing, I think, but I felt bad. But I should have just done that because, I mean, I did buy the Gotham City one because of them. I might just go there and hawk it for someone for $20. Hey, you wanted to go to the Gotham tailgate? Here's $20. Go. Knock yourself out. Nick already has a hanger ticket, which includes the tailgate. The hanger ticket does not include the tailgate. If it does, then I'm going to be really pissed because now I bought the Gotham ticket because of them for no reason. And now what you're telling me is that I bought a ticket to the tailgate for no reason because I already had a ticket to the hangar. Get out of here. You had to buy that separate. If not, I'm just going to I bought 2 parking passes because the first one ripped me off and it was that Reds place. So I got ripped off on that and then had to buy another one. Then found out that Sack Exchange had them and I could have gotten them for like a normal price. Like, you don't know how much money I have burned because of this. They better win. Let's just say that. I have burned so much money. So I can use my old jersey. Let's see. Friggle D. Didn't leave you snacks. Just been busy with life stuff. Oh, I know, man. Don't worry about it. It's all good, brother. What is that Upper West Side? What is that Upper West Side? Yeah, man. Zabar's Upper West Side. Zabar's famous place. Watch the what was the name of that movie? You Got Mail with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. They're shopping in that place the whole movie. The movie is basically filmed in there. And also, I lived on the same block, like literally across the street from the dessert place that they kept meeting at. And then every time I left the apartment, I'd have to see all these tourists taking pictures outside this stupid pastry shop because it was on the movie. There's like a sign. This is where from You Got Mail. It's the dumbest thing ever. That's just chaos. What up, brother? I'm back, bro. Hope all is well with you and yours. Wow, I'm glad to see you're back. I hope everything's okay. I hope you're back from something good and not from something bad. Hey, you talking about Blewett. Blewett rates him. But I want to talk about Joe Blewett for a second, okay? I got a joke that I'm going to use on Joe Blewett when I see him. So you tell me if it's funny, okay? Check this out. It's like I'm in the voice or in the genre of Andrew Dice Clay. This is my Joe Blewett joke. Joe Blewett. He needed the money. Oh. Okay. Think about it for a while. You'll get it. Dom C is in the house. What's going on, Dom? Dom C incorrectly thinks the Jets aren't going to make a move for an offensive tackle. He's very wrong. Iowa, what's going? You'll be back in a minute, okay? Dom C is here. He's in the house. He also has a very bad take. He doesn't think the Jets want another tackle. He's wrong. We're going to get another tackle before the season starts, I promise you. You heard it here first. No, it's not funny. Well, thanks for your honesty, Dark Soldier. I appreciate the honesty. Come on, man. Come on. Joe Blewett. He needed the money. Don't you? You don't get it? Joe Blewett's the man. He put in the work like unstable. Look, Joe Blewett is the guy I go to learn. He's the guy I ask. Joe Blewett, is he good? But I also asked Dom C. Because Dom C, by the way, made some predictions, and Dom C is looking very smart. Okay? There's a running back, I think it's for the Texans, last name Pierce. And people are going crazy for this guy and saying he's going to be their running back and he's looking so good, he's going to be special. Well, guess who nailed that one? Dom C. Dom C also loved, who else did he love? There's another player that is turning heads that people really like. It's a safety. Who's that safety? Who's that safety, man? Dom C. You love the safety. Nick something. I'm just like senile today. Anyway, his first name was Nick. Nick Banks, I don't know. But there's a safety, and Dom C totally nailed it. The guy is looking like he's going to be a very special player, and Dom C nailed it. Nick Cross, that's right, Nick Cross. His beard is getting in my mouth. Mustache. I'm just going to shave it all, guys. I'm sorry, I can't stand it anymore. Dice Man was from Brooklyn. I used to go to King's Plaza when he was big. And we had a couple of Andrew Dice Clay sightings. If you wanted to bump into Andrew Dice Clay, you went on Friday night at like 7 p.m. Because before he'd head into the city or whatever to do his gigs, he would go and get his grandmother, an orange whip, like an orange juice drink for his grandmother from the Orange Julius in King's Plaza. So people I'll never forget it. There would be all these people just hanging around the Orange Julius every Friday night waiting for Andrew Dice Clay to come walking in. Oh, orange whip for my grandmother. Oh. I said that before you ever said the joke. Oh, Jets Cast was in Europe the last 2 weeks. Oh, you. Then Pakistan. Wow. Europe business. Pakistan, wife, and family. But I'm back, bro. Waiting for opening day. Can't wait. Jets, JT, Jets. So is it true? Check this out. There was young people like before a wedding in Pakistan would go and make trips into Afghanistan for like the leaven bread or the flatbread. Is it true? Like, do you have to go into Afghanistan to get that? Like, wouldn't Pakistan have the same quality and the same delicious bread? Like, that always confused me, like, when I read that. So, straighten me out on that. But some wonderful food in the Middle East. I actually have an employee from Iraq. She came here from Iraq not so long ago. Her husband worked a little with the U.S. military, and they had to get them out here because they would not have survived if they stayed because they helped the U.S. military. But anyway, she's from Iraq, and she's here, and once in a while she will bring in a container of food for me to take home, and it is wonderful. Best food, like lamb, and just so delicious. We get this jar now because of her. Look for it. It says pickles, but it's all vegetables chopped up. There's like other vegetables too, even though it says pickles, and it comes like in a yellow sauce. It's like turmeric or something. It's so delicious. And you could buy it in a jar. You got to go into these little into like the Middle Eastern shops and supermarkets. I'm telling you, it's so good. Solo Marco Polo. What's up, buddy? What's going on? Sauce will definitely. That's the one thing I'm not worried about. I am not worried about Sauce. Sauce is going to shut whoever down. They're not even throwing in his direction. They're terrified of him. Terrified. They don't want any part of Sauce Gardner. The Baltimore Ravens. What a joke. I mean, we're going to shut them down. I cannot wait. Wait until Michael Clemens comes through that line. And Lamar the Great is going to be running for his life. And then, boom, Clemens is going to just knock him down. Good shout out for Dom. See, I like his takes so far, also from watching your program. But I can verify that Joe Blewett knows his stuff. He puts the work in the tape. Dude, you're talking. Dude, I am 100% with you, dude. I am a fan of Joe Blewett. I'm probably not going to go up to him and say, Joe Blewett, he needed the money. I'm actually going to go up to Joe Blewett because I am going to see him in about a week and a day or two. I'm going to go up to Joe Blewett, and I'm actually going to hand him some hot sauce that I am bringing with me because he likes hot sauce. And I'm going to have some hot sauce with Joe Blewett. Nothing crazy because we're at a game, and nobody wants to use a public bathroom after, because they ate too much hot sauce. So I'm going to get a very reasonable, delicious tasting hot sauce, and we're going to put it on our sausage and pepper sandwiches. And that's what I promised him. I said, I'm going to find you, Joe Blewett. We're going to meet up, and I'm going to have some hot sauce for you. But Dom puts in the work, and Joe Blewett puts in the work. And that's what I love about our community and our YouTube community is that we have so many different types of people. Like if you want to really learn and see a breakdown and have it explained to you, why do I think this guy is good? Why don't I think he's good? And visually see it, Joe Blewett. I mean, you have to want to see that. It's not about entertainment and laughing and goofing around. Like you come to me for that. You come to Green Bean a little for that. If you want to get nuts and be absolutely ridiculous, you come here, right? But if now we're serious, right? We want to learn about a player and because we're fans and we really want to know. And it's like the best fans, the ones that are really the most, that care the most, that really want to understand the most are the ones that watch Joe Blewett. It's not about, entertain me, make me laugh. Not saying he's not entertaining. He's entertaining through the content, which is very, very great, excellent, informative content where you really get to see not only learn. It's not only his opinion about the players that helps you out. He actually teaches you how to evaluate players. Like I look at players differently because of Joe Blewett. Like when I'm watching a running back in slow motion, I actually look for different things that I never knew to look for because of Joe Blewett. So happy tanking. Don't worry about it, man. I'm right with you, man. I am a big fan of Joe Blewett and the Jets X Factor. But I am also a fan, and I'm also very impressed with Dom C. Even though he doesn't do videos that shows you the breakdown, he explains it. And then, so far he's looking very, very smart. Now we'll see with Drake London. Drake London doesn't have to be better than Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson or any of them. I mean, if Drake London ends up being the second best or the third best wide receiver out of this class and is an all-pro wide receiver, then Dom C was not wrong. Like, you don't have to get the exact order right. You're knowledgeable if you're able to predict who's going to be good and who's going to be great, who's going to be in the middle, and who's going to, you think is going to bust. If you could predict those things, you should be GM should be talking to you about having you join their staff. If Dom C keeps up the predicting the way he has, that might happen. Also, Rusty Spooner. I've got to shout out Rusty Spooner. Rusty's diamonds are looking good. A lot of his guys are looking really good. Kyle Phillips, the one no one ever heard of, he's already won the starting punt returner job. So that's happened. I think for Tennessee. I think he's in Tennessee. What's his face? He loved Dean, Nakobe Dean. Well, guess what? Nakobe Dean looks amazing in Philadelphia. There's other guys too. I mean, like a lot of the guys that I'm hearing good things about were guys that Rusty really loved and was talking up. So he turns out to be a guy. He's the real deal. He's truly watching college football, and he's giving out good opinions, like based on knowledge, based on watching. So yes, I'm worried too. I'm worried about our lack of backup, our lack of depth at tackle, and I am worried about the run blocking because, and look, it might be nothing. They might come out and be fine. I'm basing it on the lack of reps they've had together, and they didn't look good in preseason at all. In my opinion, they didn't look good at all for the run blocking. The pass protection seemed okay, but the run blocking was putrid. So that concerns me. I want to have a good running game. I don't see how we can't be the offense we want to be without a good running game. It doesn't work in this system. Like we need the running game. It's a big part of this offense. We are rated the worst defense in fantasy. Well, we don't, we're coming off a year where we forced no turnovers. And people who do those ratings, they're not looking at the fact that we basically have 6 new starters on the defense, right? So, I mean, to me, it's like I'm not confident that the defense is going to be dominating already, but I know we're not going to be ranked 32 in the league. If we stay healthy, I believe that we could take the biggest jump in the NFL. Like, that doesn't mean we're going to be a top 10 defense. Like, if we jump to 16, 17, that's amazing, right? If we went from 32 to 16 or 17, it's incredible. And I think if we stay healthy with Carl Lawson, Jacob Martin, JFM, Clement, I mean, look at the amount of guys we have. I'm not even Quinnen Williams. Look at the defensive line. Like, if these guys get through and do their job, it's going to be easy for the rest of our defense. And then we have great secondary, great cornerbacks. So if now you're putting pressure on the quarterback and you're getting there fast, and then you have a guy like Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed and Michael Carter, the second playing, the slot guy, we could be really dangerous. Really dangerous. But then the question's but we know how the defense is going to play, the other team's going to play us. They're not going to drop back, shotgun, and look for their wide receivers. They're not going to just play to our strength. They're not going to do that. They're going to do dump passes, screen passes, quick little outs. They're going to Baltimore's going to be utilizing the hell out of their tight ends. So guys that are like our slot corner, like Michael Carter II, our linebackers, our safeties, if they do coverage, they're the ones that have to step up. They have to neutralize the tight ends, and somebody's got to spy Lamar and make sure he doesn't run all over us. And then we got the task of just stopping Baltimore's running game. And I don't care which running backs they have. It doesn't matter. It's not about the running backs. It's about their system and about their coaching. They have a good running game. You just have to assume it's going to be tough. And don't look at the names. Just understand that this is a franchise that year after year establishes a good running game. They're well coached. So there's a lot, but overall, going back to my point, our defense could be very good. But we have to understand it's not going to be, unless we get a lead. If we get a lead, it's going to be great. If we get ahead, it's going to be great. If we force our opponent to go into shotgun every play with 3 or 4 receivers spread out, we're going to be great, or we should be. Otherwise, we totally failed with our talent. But if we do anything that we're supposed to be, if we're anything of the team that we're supposed to be, if we get up to a lead, if we get a lead, we should dominate. Because that if our opponent is forced to drop back and pass, they are playing into our strength. We want to put them in a situation where throwing to your tight end 5-10 yard little dinks and dunks and running the ball is not going to be a good idea because it takes up too much time and we have a lead. We want to put them in a rush and then we want to sack the hell out of them and put the game away. So, yeah, man. I'm telling you, Clemens is gonna be feared. What he did to Taylor, it's not a joke. I know if I'm a quarterback and I'm watching that, I'm nervous. If I see somebody do that to my, that's nerve-wracking what he did. I mean, he just crushed Taylor. I mean, like, just completely killed him. So, I mean, it was ridiculous. That's interesting. Jamal Adams jersey with Tony Adams. He changed it. Yeah, that's why I didn't even think about that. That's why people want him to change to 33. That's funny. They should. He should change it to 33 just for the fans, so they can make up for it because of the jersey. I saw the picture, bro. Yep, I saw the picture of him. We put it on Green Bean Show last night. I actually found it on Twitter and sent it to Green Bean, and we posted it. Yeah, but Jay, I mean, the thing is they rank us last, but it's kind of weird that they don't do any thinking. Like they don't look at. You think that they would at least consider the players that we've added, but I guess that's not how fantasy works. They rank it based on last year's points. I mean, some of the fantasy like things have projections and they do projections, but I mean, we have nobody that's proven. I mean, you think that they would say, well, Whitehead is going to be worth a couple more points. He causes turnovers, right? He causes fumbles. You think that they would say Sauce and DJ Reed together are good for some interceptions this year, and that Carl Lawson coming back means they're going to have more, sacks. But I guess we don't get respect. We're going to have to win if we want respect. Just get used to it, guys. No one is ever going to respect us. They're not even going to respect us if we win 10. If we go 10-7 this year and miss the playoffs, they'll say we were a flash in the pan, and they'll be predicting that we go back to 5 to 6 wins the following year. We will not get respect until we win, until we go deep into the playoffs, until we're winning games, until we're winning 12 games a year, and it's after a couple of years of doing it. We're not going to get respect. People just love to beat up on us. They will not respect us, so don't expect it. Thanks, man. Daniel Murphy, my Facebook friend. What's going on, bro? Good to see you. Question, Jeremy, is this the best Jets practice squad you have seen? Best squad that had the highest potential to be developed? That's an interesting question. Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I haven't always been this deep into the Jets. I've always loved them passionately, but I was never like a guy that knew the back of the roster guys that are in the practice squad. In the last couple of years and getting into this channel has brought me more and more into the details of every little thing. So I don't have a tremendous amount or volume to compare it to. I know it's better than last year for sure. Just some of the wide receivers we had to stick on there, Irvin and Calvin Jackson and guys like that, I think are better than DC Montgomery and Tariq Black. But Tariq Black actually looked pretty good. So how about that? Having Kenny Yeboah, I think it's a pretty good tight end to have on your practice squad. Strevler looks interesting, like for a fourth string right now, the fourth guy in the, all the way on the practice squad kind of guy. He looks exciting. I don't know if he'll ever be more than the backup, but it's still just kind of cool to see his name. And then who else went there? Some secondary guys, right? Didn't Guidry end up on our practice squad? I don't think he got picked up. Oh, no, he definitely got picked up, right? It's Guidry. I mean, come on. He's a good player. He must have gotten picked up. But I think that some of the guys that we had to cut, like the reason a lot of them got picked up and the ones that slipped to the practice squad, there were some good ones that we're happy about. Will Parks, I don't even know if he's going to stay on the practice squad. I think he might get put on the team pretty soon. Bradley and I, Smart, Tenzel Smart. I know he's a veteran, and these guys are veterans, but yeah, I know. I do think, as far as from my experience, I feel that we have real talent on our practice squad, guys that I would trust in games. I mean, I don't think I'm not going to sit there because of preseason and say he's a star, but I think Bradley and I and Tenzel Smart played well enough that if they had to come into a game on a pinch and take some snaps in the rotation of the defensive line, I don't think we should be moaning and groaning that they stink. What the hell? Like, I think they did enough to make us think we have some competency. So I like it. But I do overall like a lot of the guys that we have to develop. Like, I like Max Mitchell. I like that we're developing Jeremy Ruckert, that we have two tight ends that are experienced and we get to develop them. I liked this guy that we're Tony Adams, that we're developing him. Like, that's good stuff. Jonathan Marshall, that we got him on the practice squad, but we re-signed him, and that we're going to continue to develop him. I think it's good. We're keeping some guys in the pipeline. A lot of them never hit, and some of them do. You don't know. But right now, we're such a young team. It's hard to look at the practice squad because we got guys on the roster that we have to develop. So we got to focus on, put our focus on that. But, it's nice to have like a pipeline, because guys will come and go, and it's nice to have some guys that can come in and you don't have to rely on free agency or the draft for everything. So Michael Lando, my friend, what's going on, my friend? Yeah, no, I say it all the time. When you look at our roster, a 2019 roster and compare it to this one, it's just outrageous how far we've come. Yeah. So I see his name and everything. Like, we'll see what he comes out to be. We'll know. I trust, we got to trust the staff. Yeah, Guidry went to Arizona. They're smart for picking him up. I mean, he was a middle of the league guy, and he's young and can get better. I mean, he wasn't like a crappy slot corner. He wasn't as good as Michael Carter II, but he was good. Like, he was top 20 in the league. I think he was like 15th or 16th in the league, and he as far as ratings, and and he also stepped in and played the boundary for us, so he has some versatility. He's good. He wasn't an easy guy for them to cut. They probably, but he's also not going to be the reason we don't win the Super Bowl, or they'll have a chance to be good. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to become a superstar where we're going to regret it forever. So we don't have to panic over it, but unfortunately we had to cut a good player. Pinnock too. I think the Giants made a smart move by picking up Jason Pinnock. My trust is earned, not given. Personally, I believe defense will be much improved. Me too. Should be top 20, maybe 15. That would be amazing. Got to do it on the field, though. Feel me, bro? I feel you, bro. I feel you. We've been fooled before, you and me, hater. We've been around a while, right? There's people got to understand that. I'm not just like a blind homer that's like, oh, we're going to win, and we're going to win, and we're automatically going to win. It's like, no, I've been around enough to know when the season starts, all of a sudden you don't feel as confident when you see our guys running around the field looking very human, looking very young. It's got to show up on the field. None of these guys, nobody's made it as a superstar yet, right? Elijah looks good. Looks like he could be. Michael Carter looked really good. Looks like he could be really good. Carl Lawson even hasn't put up star numbers. Like, he just looks good in practice. Like, we have so many guys that they haven't done it on the field yet. So they have to prove it. I mean, but I think we could all agree that we feel very confident about a lot of them. Now, Whitehead and TJ Reed, they're proven. They are what they are. They're good. We know they're good. We know that CJ Mosley is good. He's not what he was, but he's a smart, high IQ player. He's a good leader out there. Like, we know some of what we have. We know Quinton Williams is good. We don't know if he's great. People are down on him because he hasn't lived up to his number 3 pick. Well, this is the year. Now he has good edges around him. So now he has to step up. If he doesn't, then he won't live up to the pick. If he has a breakout year and he's unstoppable, then we'll know why we picked him. Right? So there's a lot to prove. So you're saying YouTubers like all of us. I think I don't think that. I think that our roster is improved as far as potential and talent. Whether they're gonna, you can have a lot of talent and never make it in the NFL. So it's not that we're sitting there like, maybe they aren't, right? But the point of being a fan is not to spend your time talking about that they're not. Like if you're a Jets fan, you talk about the things you're hopeful for. That's what being a fan is. And I love it when other fans from other teams come and put us down for it. It's like when they do it for their team. Like every fan of every team does that, unless you're kind of a crappy, unhappy fan, right? I mean, like you're supposed to be excited about your young players that show potential. You're supposed to. It's crazy not to. What is the point of being a fan? So it's like, I don't know. They might not have improved as much as I think they have. It might prove out that they haven't. But I think that we have. If you're a Jets fan and you're not more excited than you've been in 8 years, I don't understand how. Like you can't tell me that we shouldn't be as excited as we've been in the past 8 years. Because on paper, even though it's not proven, on paper, you can't say that there was a time in the past 8 years we should have been more excited about our roster. I mean, 2015 was the last time we could be excited. After that, it's been garbage. Now at least we have guys that have the potential to be good. They haven't proved it yet, but at least there's a chance. I mean, Elijah Moore had a run there in the middle of the season before he got hurt where he looked really good. We know he has talent. We could see it. You can watch him do route running. You know he's good. Garrett Wilson has looked spectacular. Breece Hall is Breece Hall. Michael Carter looked spectacular last year at times. He got hurt. So yes, part of it is they have to stay healthy, but there's a lot to be hopeful about. There's a lot of indicators that these guys could be special players. And if I don't care who you're a fan of. If you know anything about college football and the NFL, there's no one that can claim of having an ounce of knowledge of football that can tell me that the Jet fans shouldn't be excited about Sauce Gardner. You don't know anything about football if you say that. Anybody who thinks Sauce Gardner is overrated or he's not going to be that good or I don't see what the big deal is, know nothing about football. Know nothing. Nothing. Don't know a thing about the game. Because you could turn on and watch any game, Cincinnati game from last year or last 2 years, any game. Get the 22, watch the film and just watch Sauce Gardner. And if you don't know he can play, you don't know anything about football. And the fact that he went 3 preseason games and nobody even targeted him, the other quarterbacks did not even throw in his direction, special player. I'm not going to apologize for being excited about Sauce Gardner. That's the one I'm the most confident about, as a matter of fact. You love my enthusiasm positive about our team. And the way you just had me visualizing Michael Clemens hitting Lamar Jackson was awesome. Keep up the great work. Thanks. You got to be enthusiastic, dudes. Why would I do this channel? To come here and be negative? It doesn't make any sense. Nobody wants to hear me do that. Maybe I'd have 5 people in here with me being negative also. Nobody would watch me. Nobody wants to see somebody else. Believe me, the hate you'd have for me if I just sat here and talked negative. Even those of you that are negative, you think you would want me to be talking negative like you do, but you wouldn't. You'd say, you know what? I'm kind of here, even though I'm negative, because I kind of want to be argued with. I kind of want to, part of you, no matter how negative you are, wants to believe there's a chance we could be good. A part of you deep down wants to believe it. That's why you're watching us, right? Because so much of us are positive, right? We're like Green Bean, he's positive. Buffalo, he's positive as hell. Frankie's positive. He's excited about the team, the roster we're putting together. You wouldn't watch all of us or any of us. Ian, the king of the mountains, the most subscribers of anyone, is a positive dude. Jake Osmond, positive. These are positive guys. Some of us are more homers than others, and some of us are more or less positive than others, but we're all generally very positive and very excited about this roster. Joe Blewett's excited about this roster. He won't show tons of emotion. He's more technical and scientific about it and honest and gives the good and the bad. But of course he's excited about this roster. If you ask Joe Blewett, are you more excited about this roster than 2 years ago? Of course he's going to say yes, right? And if you're negative and you're watching any of us, it's obvious that you want – there's some part of you that wants to hear about some hopefulness. right? That you want to believe this nightmare is going to end, because that's what it's been. It has been a nightmare. A nightmare. I love football, and by week 3, my team is out of it every year. Every year I know we stink by game 3. Every year. This is the only time I have to be hopeful before they ruin it for me and go open the season 1-5 or whatever it is. So I'm going to be hopeful and hope that this is the year it's going to change, because I've been watching for over 40 years, and there's one thing I know. It always ends. The misery ends. Not necessarily a Super Bowl, but the misery ends. Tampa Bay was a joke when I grew up. When I first became a fan, they were a joke. They were as bad as you can be. There was never a way you could imagine that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would ever be anything. They were a complete laughingstock. And now who are they? They recently won a Super Bowl. Okay? Who else? Seattle Seahawks. They were in the AFC in the 1980s, and they stunk. They had a guy named Steve Largent. That's it. Steve Largent. That was their team. Caught a pass every game. At least one every game forever. That's who he writes. That was it. Then they turned it around. They had competitive years, this and that. Yeah. But when I was a kid, the Seahawks were horrible. They were like the Jets, the joke. They were a joke. There's so many teams. The Giants have had a horrible run, but yet they've won 4 Super Bowls in the last 25, 28 years. Or maybe longer, 40 years. But they've won a bunch of Super Bowls in that time. Teams have up and downs. It's a cycle. We have had our ups. Believe it or not, as much as I talk about that, like we joke around the misery of being a Jets fan, right? Super Bowl aside, not winning a Super Bowl, because we're not the only team that hasn't won a Super Bowl. The Miami Dolphins haven't won a Super Bowl since 73, right? And they walk around like they're champions. It's different mentalities. But the truth is, in the last 25 years, how many playoff games have the Dolphins won and how many games have the Jets won? Right? But yet we walk around like we're the crap of the AFC East. But that's right now in these past few years. That's not the history of the team. I've been a fan long enough to know that this is not forever, guys. Like if you're younger and you're 25, 23 years old, or if you're 20, Jet fans like that, it might feel like forever. But it's not forever. When I watched the team, it started with heartbreak, but they were great. Sack exchange, we lost in the AFC Championship game. 86, we almost went back. Gastineau had a stupid penalty. Then we had some bad years. Late 80s, early 90s, nothing doing. Got worse. And we had a run where we were the pathetic Jets. We were a joke. And then Parcells came, and we weren't a joke anymore. And then in the early 2000s, Herman Edwards, we weren't a joke. Playoffs. Then we went down a little bit for a little while. We rebuilt, and 2009, 2010, 2 AFC Championship games. We haven't always been bad. We've had our ups and downs. This is not going to last forever. People could sit there and say all they want that this is going to this is forever. The Jets are just a horrible franchise, horrible team. They're perennial losers and they stink forever. And that's just false. If you're my age, it's false. It's not true. And we will have our run again. And when has there been a time to believe it more than right now? When has there been a better time to believe in our team? I mean, we have a list of players. Our cuts, we had more people picked up that we cut than any other team. And what that means, it doesn't mean we have the playmakers to be Super Bowl champions. It means we have depth. We had so much depth that the guys we had to cut were picked up by good teams, by winning teams. That means something. We haven't done it yet. We haven't won yet. There's no question about that. But the reality is it's better than it was 2 years ago. We're going in the right direction. We are. Like no one could, it doesn't make sense. There's no argument. We're definitely going in the right direction. Now, a lot depends on a big question mark named Zach Wilson. There's no question about it. There's so much that's going to be based on Zach Wilson. We can't get around that. There's nothing we could do about it. That we just have to hope for. But you think that Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore are both going to stink and neither one of them are going to develop? I think that they're probably both going to be great players, but neither of them? Because even if it's just one, that's a great player. You don't think Michael Carter or Breece Hall, one of them is going to work out? If Breece Hall somehow doesn't work out, you don't think Michael Carter was for real? What about our tight ends? Jeremy Ruckert's going to flop? Conklin's not really that good. That was just preseason. Sauce Gardner's going to flop. I mean, there's so many guys. There's so many potential guys to be good. And you know what? It might not happen. It might not happen. But when have we had as much hope as we do now? What were we thinking in 2019? What was the hope then? Who were the players then? I don't even want to name them. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to even think about it. Constantly picking up guys that are past their prime, believing somehow that they're going to be, that suddenly we're going to be a Super Bowl team when we're putting has-been guys that other teams said you could have them. We'll take our comp pick. Thank you very much. Let's be serious. Let's get real. We're in a better situation. We have more hope than we've had in a long time. But Zach Wilson, is he going to learn? The talent's there, the arm talent, the running, there's no question it's there. He has talent. Is he going to be able to read defenses? Is he going to be able to process faster? I don't know. There's no way to know that. There's no formula. There's no proven formula for it. Nobody in the NFL, any of us knew that for sure. We would be rich. We'd be GMs if we could look at a college quarterback and know for sure. There's no such thing. And yes, he has to learn. He has to learn. Is he going to get over this thing where he has to be like carry the team and be the hero and do more than he should be trying to do? Is he going to be able to shut that part of him off and take the easy yards that the defense gives you? Is he going to learn how to do that? Is he going to learn how to throw the ball away? Is he going to learn how to run out of bounds? Is he going to learn how to slide? Is he going to learn to, is the instinct going to leave him when it's first down and you've already got a 5-6 yard gain? Slide. Is he going to learn that? Because if he doesn't learn that, it won't matter. He's not going to last. He's not going to last. That play was so stupid that he made where he tried to do that juke move, not only preseason, but he already had a 5-yard gain. It was already a productive play. There was no reason. Just slide or go out of bounds. You were running into linebackers. Why would you do that? You're running into guys that are designed to kill you. They're designed, they're put together, they're worked out, the strength, the speed, everything to hit you so hard that you don't want to get up. And what do? You cut to the inside and give them that opportunity, and then you end up getting hurt before they even touch you. He's got to learn. He's got to smarten up, but the talent's there. The talent's there. He could throw a football off balance better than almost any quarterback in the NFL. His arm, without his arm strength alone, is ridiculous. His escapability is elite. He has some great, great potential, some great, great skill, but he has got to be smarter. We've got to see him grow up here in his head. He's got to be smart, make smarter decisions. He's got to stop thinking he's the hero. He's not at BYU. He has great players around him. He's got to utilize those great players. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Conklin. You have players. They're there for you. He has to learn to use them. Berrios. You have speedy, dangerous guys. He has to use them. It's not about him. He's got to get it out of his head. It doesn't matter. You don't have to throw it 50 yards. Throw a 5-yard pass to Garrett Wilson in a quick slant and let him run away from the defense. If he can learn that, but he's also, and then the second part is, the first part is that processing, man. My whole life, 40 years, every quarterback I name that's good is because they were able to slow the game down. And for some of them, they did it from their rookie year, and some of them took 1 year, and some of them took 2 years. So Terry Bradshaw took 4 years.
But every great quarterback, everyone that's been able to be successful in this league, has been able to slow down the game. Process faster. That's what that means. Process. Decide faster. See faster. Feel what's going to happen faster. So you're not sitting there, should I throw it or not? But then you could snap, look, throw. Look, throw. Just automatic instinct. Be able to see where the defender is, where your receiver is, make instantaneously look. I'm not throwing there. I'm looking here. And then the second you see the right positioning, where the receiver is in the correct spot to where the defender is, and you know you have a place to throw the ball where only he's going to get to it, and you know where everyone else on that defense is, so you know it's safe. There's no surprise guy who's going to intercept it. Now, can anybody do that perfectly every play? No. But you've got to be able to do that a high enough percentage of the time to be a great quarterback in the NFL. You don't have to do it every time. Tom Brady doesn't. Joe Montana didn't. Not every time. But enough to be really dangerous and win a lot of games. And that's it. And, and we finally did it right, by the way. Like all these young guys we're talking about that have this potential, that's finally the Jets are doing it the right way. It's the first time in a long time I could say that. We're not just trying to build a team with no core, no base, no roots by adding some stars on it. Just look how short of a time ago we were putting Le'Veon Bell on the team and thinking that was going to do something for us. It doesn't work. We've got to build a great core. Value pickups in free agency. That's what we've done. Value pickups. Guys that are worth the money, that are worth the value. Not crazy expensive guys. Just good players. And we're trying to find and develop our own stars. It might not work. We might miss on some of these players. But we're trying the right thing. The approach is correct. I don't want to pay $30 million a year and trade all of our picks for Tyreek Hill. I want Garrett Wilson to become Tyreek Hill because that's how you win a Super Bowl. When you pick players that become those stars, not by giving away tons of capital and tons of cap space on a player after they already did it. He already won the Super Bowl for Kansas City. He already helped them win and win a Super Bowl, make 2 Super Bowls. He's already done it. Now he's collecting all his money. If you give $1 million picks for him and tons of money for him, you don't have enough of a team around him, right? But if Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore become great receivers, and Breece Hall or Carter or both, or one of them is a great running back, and JJ or Clemens is a great, edge, and Carl Lawson is doing great. If Whitehead plays amazing at safety and we fill that other spot, like if these other things happen, if we start building all these exciting pieces, and if most importantly, Zach Wilson steps up and becomes a really good quarterback, then maybe you add on that crazy player, that free agent, like the Rams did last year when they added on a couple of those guys. They added on 2, right? They got Odell Beckham and they added on what's-his-face, who's on the Bills now, the freaking pass rusher from Denver. But maybe that's when you make the move. The Yankees, remember 1976, they lost in the World Series. What did they do? They brought in Reggie Jackson, the straw that stirred the drink. And look what happened. But you got to build it first. You got to build it. The core. You got to build it. You can't just buy some big players and think you're going to win. It doesn't work. Everyone thinks that's what the Rams did. It's not what the Rams did. The Rams didn't do that. The Rams have more players on their team, or did when they won the Super Bowl, than any other team that came from their system. Look it up. They added a few pieces, but they built that team. That's their core team. They built it. They added the key pieces. They needed a better quarterback. They got it. They needed a better edge person. They got it. They needed another receiver. They got it. They added some key pieces. Everyone else on that team is homegrown. You want to be like the Rams and win a Super Bowl like that? How did the New England do it? New England let all their guys go. They would never overpay. They took the comp picks. They didn't even pick well. They had a great quarterback and a great coach, and even though they were cheaters, and they ended up winning Super Bowls. And but all their picks weren't bad, obviously.
When you have so many, you're able to build the core of the team. Maybe not the superstars of the team, but the core of the team. But look, the New England picked a lot of great players. Gronk. The list goes on. I'm sure if we looked at a list of everyone that played New England, they made some good picks out of those draft picks. Every time I think of Super Bowl teams, how did Dallas build a team? They traded Herschel Walker, and they built a team, and they built a Super Bowl champion. I mean, look at the old 49ers in the 80s. Homegrown team, built team. They built that team. They added on one piece after Montana, and that was Young. They got Steve Young from Tampa. But otherwise, they built that team from the ground up. That's the way to do it. It doesn't mean because we're doing it right that we're going to win a Super Bowl, though. Because we still have to get the right guys, and it still has to work, and they have to gel, and you need luck, and you need no injuries, and you need a million little things to happen. But it starts at least taking the right approach. The right approach is you have to find and develop your own stars, because the cap, no matter how you manipulate it, is not enough on its own to get enough players. The cap goes away fast if you sign stars. It gets eaten right away. You can't. You need to not only fill the team with young talent, but as they get older, you're going to lose a bunch of them because you can't pay them all. So you have to constantly be adding new talent. Every offseason, we have to have good drafts. We have to constantly find good value in free agency, constantly be adding good players. It's a never-ending cycle. The second that cycle stops and you just have the same team playing with nothing in the pipeline, nothing to refill it, you're done. That's when your team just jumps off a cliff, falls off the cliff, goes into nothingness. When you don't build correctly. So we're doing it right. Yeah, but it wasn't all luck. They got lucky that those guys panned out, because with quarterbacks, you never know. And I've said that myself, right? You never really know. So there was some luck, but Mike, they put the team around them, right? They drafted Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Roger Craig, Ronnie Lott. I mean, that's not luck. That's good drafting. It's really good drafting. Look at the offensive linemen they had, all from the draft. You look at the Niners team and the Giants from the early, mid-'80s, those really good teams that used to go at it. Look where those guys were drafted. 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. So many of them. It's crazy when you look at the old drafts. You want to follow a good team and look at their drafts. Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, all the good franchises. They don't do it by buying free agents. They don't. They just keep adding good young players. They keep the pipeline full, and they develop within. Yeah, hopefully we got it, man. You know what? I mean, this is the hope. The hope, and this is forget about all the other players around them. If Zach Wilson, Saleh, and Joe Douglas are the real deal, those are the three keys. Those are the three keys. You have Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, Zach Wilson. If they all hit, everything else will fall into place. Amazing how fast you'll see everything else will feel like luck. Oh, look how many guys hit for them. Look how they get all the breaks. GM, coach, quarterback. So, also Emmitt Smith for Blair Thomas. Oh, we could have taken Emmitt, isn't that right? And we took Blair Thomas. My God. Oh, that's just out of control. Crazy. Guys, I got to go. I just wanted to I wasn't even supposed to do a show tonight, but I did. But I do have to go. I have to cook dinner real fast. I have to get up really early. I'm going to be going to San Mateo, Bay Area. I'm escaping the heat in this crazy city for as long as I can. We're going to be hanging out in San Francisco, staying in a hotel in San Mateo. It's a lot cooler. It's a lot nicer. And I will bring my computer, so I might jump on from the hotel. But thanks for coming by, man. Oh, thank you, my brother. Thank you. Hey, I don't know if Nick comes home. Maybe he'll go on, and there'll be a place to hang out tonight. But I put my time in, guys. I put my time in. So I'm going to go. I'm going to run. I'm going to cook. I'm going to grill up some hamburgers for my wife. And, dudes, next week I am going to be in New Jersey. or New York, Staten Island, actually. Exactly a week from now, I'll be in Staten Island at my friend's house, ready to wake up and go to Coney Island the next morning. So I'm super excited. Guys, take care. Jim Pox, some guys, Sean Bennett, all of you guys. Mess. Trin, John Nolte, all you guys that were here. Robert S. Lando again. Grandizer, who's always helping me. Everybody give Grandizer a shout out. Solo, thanks for being here. Larry Turkin was here. Thank you. So many of you, man. Frank Schultz, thanks a lot. I appreciate you being here tonight. And man, I can thank you forever. Thanks for the great chat. Jacob Finnegan. Look at me. I'm just scrolling up. It just goes on forever. I missed so many jokes too. Wow. Hader Ali. Thank you, brother. Old Dave Etcheverry here from the start. Thank you, my brother. Anybody else? Am I missing anyone? I hope not. Anyway, take care, guys. Have an awesome, awesome one. I will be coming on and showing you as much as I can of the trip. Green Bean with everything else. Like I'll be putting, like, doing my best to keep you guys part of it as best I can. You guys are the best. Take care. I'll leave you with this. Oh yeah. Go. Amazing. That's my boy. He
breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down.
Oh, Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch.
He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too.
It's no good. Overtime. Oh, what a catch. How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown.
This is a touchdown all the way.
He reached over the pylon. San Francisco beat Cincinnati.